I was literally on top of the world. I just could not feel better. Everything was just going great. And then less than a month later, I had to go in for another blood test and another scan. Some unusual results came back. So my hepatologist called me back in and said, "We suspect that your cancer may have come back." Well, who have I upset? Because I mean, I thought I've been doing the right things, and unfortunately, cancer just has a way of wanting to exist, right? So, using my surgeon's words, my liver had basically become a tumor factory. So, the only thing to do to cure my issue is to remove the factory altogether and replace it with a new liver. In terms of the options for this curative path, there are two. One is receiving a liver from a deceased donor, and that's the traditional way, where I would be placed on a list and I would have to wait for my name to get higher on that list to qualify for a full liver from a deceased donor. And in my case, again, just because of my fitness, my health, my age, I'd be looking at a few years before I'd be able to get that in. Living with cancer for more than a year is just not something I'm willing to sign up for. So we looked at some other options, and that only other option is getting a liver from a living donor.
The option for living donor liver transplant has been around for many years, and technically it's become a very successful surgery. A donor gets identified, a living donor gets identified, whether it's a friend, family, brother, sister. Usually about 2/3 of the liver is resected, actually, from the donor. The recipient's old liver comes out, and the donor's liver goes in. And afterwards, in both the donor and the recipient, the liver regenerates and it grows back to a normal size and fits within the cavity that it's supposed to fit. So it's a remarkable organ, and it's capable of regenerating itself, and that's why it allows us this opportunity to do a living donor liver transplant, and it's saved many, many lives. So every year we have several anonymous donors that step up and want to be donors. They have, I think, their own reasons, but obviously it's a very altruistic sort of thing to do.
I had no idea who this person was. They just said they had found a match. And then later on they said, well, just to let you know, it's a woman, she's 29, you're gonna be the person to do it. I said, no problem. I'm a man of faith, so I prayed. I was praying for every day. And I mean, and I know it's selfish to think that, gosh, I want her to be well, but I'm thinking, just thinking that, I don't want all that I went through to be in vain. But it just made all the difference in the world to know that she's doing well. And the fact that, I heard that there are people who are waiting for someone to step up for them to live. I mean, I put myself in your shoes. I thought, what would I want if I were in your situation? I'd be praying for someone to come forward, and I'm happy that I was able to do this for you.
I feel like thank you is not enough, but I'm eternally grateful. And I promise not to waste this chance.
It's remarkable how these anonymous donors are willing to do that, but they're special people.
She has a life to live now. She has a future which looks very bright, and wherever that takes her. And I'll always be happy to hear. I told her I'll be on the sidelines cheering you on wherever you go, wherever your life takes you. I'll be a spectator and a happy one at that. I've been, healthy, but still the recovery period, I mean, it takes a lot out of you. And I mean, I went from getting ready to run a 100-mile run 1 week, literally, to barely being able to walk around the hospital ward one time after the surgery. And you literally started from scratch. So when I heard, we talking with Phil, and Phil telling me what he had gone through, because they already did a liver resection on him. And then he's back, and he's not just doing marathons, but the times he's putting in is just amazing. He is a contagiously enthusiastic person, and that's a wonderful thing. And I hope he doesn't lose that.
The statistics say that, 4 people die every day waiting for a liver. So if we could somehow get that down to 3 people or 2 people or nobody, because we can raise the number of people, we can raise the number of altruistic donors, or just raise the awareness that live donation is a real and valid option.
I did not know the statistics around living donations. That absolutely shocked me. I couldn't believe that this need is so unfulfilled when it's so easily fulfilled. Just seeing how personally people have been affected by Phil's situation and the number of people who have stepped up, it shows it just takes that connection. It might not be a direct connection, you just have to know what you could be doing is gonna actually save a life.
I've always known that I've had a good circle of friends and a very supportive family.
Of course, it makes it difficult for the family to see him struggling. But he has such a strong, willpower to overcome.
Since the recurrence in November, I've actually gone on to run 4 marathons in about 6 months, and I ended up qualifying for Boston twice. I did a course PR at LA this past year, and I also had the opportunity to run the London Marathon, all with cancer as my co-pilot. Again, I've simply just accepted the fact that cancer is with me, but now I'm basically telling cancer, look, I will let you come along for this ride for now, but you're not going to stop me from what I want to achieve. The marathon itself, right, it's just such a Herculean task to do. And it's not about the race itself, it's about the journey to get to the race, right? Most people, when they talk about, wow, you ran the marathon? Well, yeah, but the marathon wasn't the hard part. It was the build-up to actually run the marathon. That's what people aren't willing to do. It's the 5 a.m. wake-up calls to get out and do your 6-mile run, to go to bed early, to eat right. That's the journey.
I'll be there when you need me. You can count on it every time. It won't always be easy, but just as sure as the sun will rise. I'll be there when you need me, with every tear that falls from your eyes. Oh, you have me completely. I'll be there when you need me.
The marathon itself is the celebration, and that celebration, wow, what a party. It really is. It doesn't matter what time you finish it in. It's the fact that, wow, I was able to complete this as part of a celebration of the journey that I just completed. That's that buzz. That's that buzz that I'm not willing to let go of. Even with cancer, I want to get that back as soon as possible.
As long as we both breathe, I'll be there when you need me. You can count on it every time. It won't that falls from your eyes. Oh, you have me completely. I'll be there when you need me.
The next LA Marathon I run will be my 10th one. What better way to celebrate that 10th marathon than running it after having a liver transplant?